Strangeway Brewery first started making beer outside of Manchester, England in 1778. By 1848, the company brought on Henry Boddington as a partner. 5 years later, Henry bought out the brewery and renamed it Boddington's Brewery. Over the years, the company has gone through several transitional takeovers and is now owned by InBev. Boddington's Pub Ale, which has been brewed since 1993, is a higher ABV version of the company's Nitro Draft bitter beer. Is this nitro-infused pub ale worthy of checking out? Find out now on Two Dudes Reviews. What up, guys? Yeah, today we have the classic Boddington's Pub Ale. And I'll just crack this open. While I'll do the little spiel of if you could like and subscribe, that'd be great. If you could check out, gotta love those nitrogen things. If you could check out the podcast, it's Two Dudes in a Six Pack. You can find that on iTunes. Whoa, that should have opened it all the way. You can find that on iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. You go to the website, twodudesinaSixpack.com. We got the blog there, and you can find all the podcast stuff. And, yeah. You can find us on Instagram, too, if you want to. Just Two Dudes in a Six Pack. It's all right there. Post just random stuff. And if you want to check out my book, that'd be cool, too. I got a link down below. But anyways, Boddington. This is just a classic British beer. I love the fact that it is a nitro beer, but it's not a stout. You don't get a whole lot of those. You have a few of the, like the Belhaven Scottish ales, which I think are fan-freaking-tastic. The nitrogen versions are great. You have the Guinness IPA, which I do not think is great. That seemed more forced than anything else. But I like it when people at least experiment with the nitrogen and actually include the widget in it, because the hard pours just don't quite get it as well. Although, if you check out, I just reviewed not too long ago the Firewalker Merlin Nitro, and that was a hard pour, and that actually did pretty well containing the nitrogen. Usually they don't do that well, so give that a whirl. But, yeah, this is I've had Boddington's before, but it's been a very, very long time, so just top this off. There's just something about that creamy head that's just like, you just look at it and you're like, yes, that looks amazing. It's in my Guinness glass. But anyways, I'm getting to the smell. I'm going to guess I probably won't be able to get a whole lot out of this since it's pretty much blanketed by this nitrogen head. But alright, let's get into the smell. You do get a bit of that milk cream kind of thing that you get with the nitrogen. Maybe a hint of coffee, a little bit of coffee. You really gotta. You almost want to like stick some like straws in so you can get the aroma from the actual beer. A little bit of grain, but again, it's very hard to get much out of the nitrogen head. Yeah, if I keep going, I'm going to start inhaling bubbles. But it's got that. It's lighter than a stout nitrogen, but it still has some of that creamy milkiness aroma going on. I think it smells great. And let's just get into the taste. I mean, of course, at first you get that cream right in your lips, which is always great. And of course, at least for me, you're so programmed when you get the cream to assume you're going to be getting a stout to follow through, that when it's not, and it's just more of just a regular British ale, it surprises you a little bit. And the nitrogen, it might mute the ale flavor a little bit. You have a subtle hint of bitterness, but not like an American IPA bitter. It's more of just that gentle British bitterness, not overpowering. It doesn't like take command of your tongue. It hits there and just kind of lingers a little bit. Just kind of, you know, making itself feel at home while you start to warm up to the rest of the beer. Might be a little bit of, I want to say orange, but it's not quite that pronounced. It's almost like a muted orange. It's not grapefruit bitter, and it's not lemon sour. So I don't know if there's mandarin. I don't know, somewhere in there, which is very muted. You have a little hint of that, and that might be just from the nitrogen kind of like muting a lot of it. But it's a very kind of soft, almost orange cream thing going on. I don't know if there's a little nuttiness to it. Yeah, I don't know. It's keep pouring this in. Yeah, it's kind of, you have your standard just British ale, where it's kind of like just your everyday, better than lager, but general beer. And then you have some little hints of that just kind of orange undertone, maybe a little nutty, but not. There's nothing really super heavy on flavor-wise anywhere. It's just little sprinkles of different things going together, and I think it tastes pretty good. So I will recommend it on taste, and the nitrogen makes it just kind of different, which is great. So I'll recommend it on taste. Alright, next category is value for price. And honestly, for a British import, it's not terrible. And you will be able to find Boddingtons in most places that carry any kind of imports. It's not super hard to find. I don't know if it carries... I'm sure you can get it in a 4-pack. But... I don't remember exactly what I paid for it, but it wasn't terrible, so I will recommend it on value for price. Usually, most British beers you won't pay that much for unless it's like a special release or an aged ale or something, but for the most part, I'll recommend it for value for price. Next category is distinction. How distinct is it? And yeah, it's for an ale. You don't get a lot of nitrogen ales, so that right there makes it stand out. It has the widget. Again, I don't know if this is like banned for production in the United States by American companies, but the widget will always beat the non-widget. So I will recommend the widget, and it's different. You know, it's like, what if they did a nitrogen-infused sour? That'd be kind of trippy. I'd love for them to just kind of start experimenting with nitrogen anything, just try it out, you know. Maybe some of these bourbon aged beers, you know, throw some nitrogen in there. That could be pretty good too. It'd be at least interesting. So just start experimenting with stuff like that. But yeah, I like this. It's different. It's unique, so I'll recommend it on distinction. Drinkability. Let's get back into. Yeah, drinkability is good. It's almost like, if you want to be hanging out with all your friends, they're all drinking Guinness, and they got the nitrogen thing, you want to be kind of in the same boat, but yeah, I got some nitrogen in here going on, but you don't want the stout, go with the Boddington's Pub Ale. So, and honestly, there's enough bitterness that slows you down a little bit. But honestly, I think it's pretty chill. It's not hard to drink. It's easy going. So yes, I will recommend it on drinkability. And all right, next category is would I buy it again? And yes, absolutely. I might drink Boddington's once a year. It's not something I just kind of like pick out and go for. But when I drink it, I always enjoy it. Again, it's been probably well more than a year since I've had this before. But I think it's great. I will be drinking it again. I have no problem drinking it again. I wouldn't mind seeing it on tap somewhere, getting a nitro pull tap of Boddington's. I think that'd be great. But so yes, I will recommend Boddington's Pub Ale. I will be buying it again, and I believe that I give the thumbs up on every single thing, which means it gets the 2 dudes stamp of approval. I have not thrown that stamp out in a while. It's been probably at least a year since I threw out a perfect score for something, but I just think Boddington's, it tastes good, it's refreshing, it's not super expensive for an import, it's different, and yet similar at the same time, and I just think all in all it works very well. It's a nitrogen beer that's not a stout, but it's also, it makes sense to have it in there. You get some problems with, again, like the Guinness IPA. It just seemed too forced. And this one doesn't seem forced. It seems to work very well. And so I will recommend it totally. Go check out Boddington Pub Ale if you haven't yet. But, alright, that is the review. Again, if you could like and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Check out the links below. You know, website, podcast, book, all that good stuff. But anyways, for myself and for Boddington's Pub Ale, take it easy.